You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
No, so bad. So bad, so bad. Oh, so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, no. She's yelling at the fucking Palestine protesters. Oh, no. Oh, no. In Michigan? You're yelling at the Palestine protesters in Michigan? No!
Because we know what that would look like. And again, understand, Donald Trump intends to end the Affordable Care Act and take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. We all remember what that looked like. And we're not going back. We're not going back. Our fight is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom.
Bro, how are you gonna not have a fucking quick equipped line for Palestine at this point?
We are witnessing a full-on
How do you think you're gonna avoid the issue in fucking Detroit, Michigan?
And we will not stand for it.
How do you not think that this is not going to be an issue that comes up? Like,
attacks
what kind
on the freedom to vote, attacks on the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do.
Oh my God. Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. Now the baton is in our hands, each and every one of us. So we, who believe in the sacred freedom to vote, will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws. We who believe in the freedom to organize will pass the PRO Act and put an end to union busting once and for all. And we who believe in reproductive freedom will fight for a woman's right to choose. Remembering what Donald Trump did to pick 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would take away this freedom, and they did as he intended. We who are paying attention to the fact that now over 20 states in our country have a Dave Weigel said the first Gaza chant of the Veep rollout tour breaks out. Kamala, you can't hide. We don't want no genocide.
And we all know if he wins, he would sign a national abortion ban to outlaw abortion in every state, and that would include the great state of Michigan. But we're not going back.
Please talk about what she said. Lots of people were chanting, and she said, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Do you want Trump to win? Keep chanting that. If not, I'm speaking.
We trust women to know what is in their best interest and not have their government telling them what to do. And when I am President of the United States and Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedoms, I will sign it into law.
That was a hill dog ass moment.
Michigan,
I'll say it.
Here's the thing. So much is on the line in this election. And we got to remember, you know, we knew who he is and what he was about in 16 and in 20, but there's also something else that has happened recently that we really have to prioritize in our mind about the danger we're looking at. Last month, the United States Supreme Court basically just told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward, he will be immune no matter what he does in the White House. But think about that. Think about that. Think about what that means. Think about what that means. The man has openly vowed, if reelected, that he will be a dictator on day one. Think about what that means when he said that he will even, quote, terminate the Constitution of the United States. Because let us be very clear, someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Vote. 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 That's right. So here's the thing, to your point. When it comes down to all of the things that are important about this, I think the most important thing that I love you back, and listen, one of the things that I know brings us all out today and always is we love our country. We love our country. We love our country. And I do believe it is the highest form of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country. That is how we preserve the promise of America. After all,
Keep being a cuck to an apartheid genocide state, chatter.
what makes it possible for Tim Walz and me to be
And a genocidal apartheid state that's literally fucking doing pro-rape protests. That's the ticket.
two
That's a good
middle-class
idea.
kids, one a daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother. I had a summer job at McDonald's. The other, a son of the Nebraska plains who grew up working on a farm. Only in America is it possible for them together to make it all the way to the White House. Only in America. Only in America. So we are running this campaign on behalf of all Americans, from red states to blue states.
Netanyahu wants Trump to
heartland
win
to the
anyway. Why is
coast.
this such a hard thing for Dems to talk
And
about?
when
They're fucking
elected,
cowards.
I promise you we will govern on behalf of all Americans. I promise that. So I'll close with this. Michigan, ultimately, in this election, we each face a question. We each
I'm
face
bisexual
a
and don't support
question.
this genocide, but Palestine
What
hates my
kind
guts as
of
bisexual.
country
What the fuck
do
are
we
you
want to
talking
live
about?
in? A country
There are
of
bisexual
freedom,
Palestinians. What are we talking about?
compassion,
Israeli
and
bombs
rule of law,
made in the United States of America do not
or
discriminate.
a
They kill
country of
all.
chaos, fear,
Americans
and
have
hate.
one speed only. They just have they can only center themselves in every conversation.
And the beauty of
I'm a
our
bisexual vegan who's disabled, and I was wondering what Palestinians,
each
how I
have the
support
power
Palestine, even though they hate me.
to
It's
get
like,
to
what do
that
you
point.
mean,
We
dude?
each have the
How should she have responded?
The power
To be
is
like,
with
I hear
the
you.
people.
When I say we're not going back, I mean we're not going back to our old allegiances, allowing a country full of beautiful, brave people in Israel that I love, that I've defended my whole life, to be taken over by a right-wing charlatan like Benjamin Netanyahu, just like Donald Trump. They're so closely associated with one another because they're both right-wing and they're both crazy and they're both selfishly holding on to power, no matter what the consequence is. That's why we're going to beat Donald Trump, and that's why I will not stand for what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing to Israel. I love Israel. I want to defend Israel, and Benjamin Netanyahu, the most unpopular candidate in Israel. Doors open. There you go. That's what you say.
And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless you.
Here's a clip of the protesters yelling on the ground. You know that's going to be fucking front and center. The Trump side of the media is going to cover that. CNN will definitely bring it up too. I'm telling you right now, terminally online leftists are going to lose the election by sticking to their morals and not voting against the dictator. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. There's an active genocide going on. Okay? Shut up. And it's only being done with our weapons. And the guy most responsible for it, is literally in the pocket, in the tank for Donald Trump. He wants Donald Trump to win. This is an issue that you can tackle on partisan grounds. Okay? This is an issue you can tackle on partisan grounds. This is an issue you should tackle on partisan grounds if you want to win the election. You're going to fucking Michigan, a state with the largest amount of Arab voters, Muslim voters in general. Okay? They have friends that are also pro-Palestine. They have family members that are in Gaza. Okay? It's ridiculous to just drop that on a fucking dime. Not even have any kind of counter message on it. Like, how do you not even fucking, how are you so hopped up on your own? How are you so hopped up on your own farce that you think that, like, ain't nobody's gonna bring this shit up? You're right there. You're right next to fucking Dearborn. The uncommitted campaign has been talking about doing counter protests. This is gonna come up in the DNC too. The majority of Americans do not want to send troops to the region to defend Israel. The majority of Americans. Okay? Majority of Americans. Remember that. You really think it's a fucking solid choice to do exactly that? Be in the tank for a double suicide pact with an apartheid nation that is currently actively committing a genocide with our weapons? You're fucking insane. This is inevitably going to come up. I've been waiting for this moment to come up. I wanted to see what she was going to do. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris, go right ahead. Okay? I don't give a shit. But don't come in here and fucking talk to people that are at the forefront, that are at the fucking front lines of activism, that could, like that, become door knockers, that would be willing and able to go out and become the bulwark of the Democratic Party's candidacy, the ticket, and actively petition others to go out and vote for Kamala Harris. Clear you don't care? Chatter's right, touch grass as a streamer, lol. Did she say that? No. Clear you don't care, crazy. Don't ever fucking come in here and try to educate me about American politics, okay? Especially when it comes to fucking foreign policy. Suck my dick. These people are angry for very good reason, okay? Remember what I said? Politicians need to earn your votes. How many motherfuckers do you know that are like, no, America has to keep continuing Israel's genocide? Majority of Americans want a ceasefire. What are we talking about? The overwhelming majority of the Democratic Party wants a ceasefire. We haven't forgotten, okay? What are you talking about? Who are you trying to capture? What base of support does what base of support, what real people-backed power does the pro-Israel ticket have? Nothing. All of the people who are unconditionally pro-Israel, no matter the cost, are already in the deep red South, and they're evangelical Christians at the heart of the Republican constituency. Okay? Every single one. The real die-hard voters who will be like, this is the issue that's the most important to me, they're voting for the Republican Party. They're evangelical Christians. They're in the deep South. Okay? The majority of Americans, the overwhelming majority of the Democrats, overwhelming majority of independents, and the majority of Americans across the board want a fucking ceasefire. Okay? It is so insane. It is incomprehensible to me that you could go to Michigan and not think that this is going to be an issue that comes up. That you could go to the DNC and control the narrative, and that this won't be a massive fucking protest movement. It's ridiculous. Okay? It's ridiculous. Delusional if you think that's how you win an election. There is no constituency that is saying, according to polls, that we have to fucking keep in this double suicide pact with Israel. None. 30% of the Americans that are in that double suicide pact are at the heart of the Republican Party's base of votes, base of support. It would be career suicide for a Republican to come out that aggressively against Israel. Okay? But for the Democrats, it is the expectation. What are we doing? They're so lost in the sauce that they think like, oh no, this won't come back up. Everyone's really excited about Kamala. Yes, there's a lot of momentum behind Kamala Harris. Okay? But you're going to cut away at that if you don't have something readily prepared. And we keep giving you political ammo too. Haaretz's sister outlet just published an investigation revealing how our Minister of Diaspora, Amihai Chikli, held secret talks with a private Israeli intelligence company that proposed a spying operation against the Students for Justice for Palestine. Okay, the SJP. Though it didn't end up happening, he still tried to spy on American soil. But we're still just stuck in this bizarre mutual cucking situation where we can do this shit to our face, to your face, while still being dependent and face no consequences. There's no downside to adding up pressure to Israel on the ceasefire. Biden, who is the most rabid Zionist that you've ever met, who has outflanked Israeli politicians and former generals on what to do with Israel's enemies at times, 30, 40 fucking years ago, as a matter of fact, has put together a 3-phase ceasefire negotiation with a permanent end to hostilities. That was 3 fucking months ago at this point. Israel last week killed the principal negotiator on the Palestinian side. It's time to fucking nut up. You can't keep constantly defending Israel and expecting no backlash. Okay? Even if it doesn't cook your campaign in the way that you think it might, in the way that you don't foresee it happening because you have so much momentum, this is already a lost cause ultimately. I've said foreign policy, this is an American cliche. Foreign policy is never top of mind in American politics in an election cycle until it's the only thing that people talk about. There are no assurances from Benjamin Netanyahu that this won't be the only thing that Americans talk about, especially considering his undying loyalty and commitment to Donald Trump. He fucking flew. He flew to Mar-a-Lago after delivering a speech in front of a packed house with the entirety of the Republican Party there and half of the Democratic Party there. Delivered a speech, got a standing ovation. What the fuck did he do? He flew to Mar-a-Lago to meet Trump personally. There's no way. There's no way. Here, you want to watch the clip again? Here it is. This is the other side. This is the protester side. This is how Kamala Harris dealt with the hecklers. Oh my God, boss girl status. Oh my God, what a boss. That's great. There are so many damn voters that are single issue on genocide, and she's in the motherland of the uncommitted and dodged it and shut them down. Yeah. It's like crazy to do that in fucking Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to do that in Michigan. That was a Clinton-ass moment. Look at this shit.
Project 2025, if he is elected.
even Joe Biden, when he's in like fucking meetings and shit, he's a rabid Zionist. He's a rabid ultra Zionist, as you guys know. Okay? When people yell at Biden, even he has the decency to at least be like, no, these people have a voice. Like, these people have a voice. Everybody quiet down. Like, come on.
I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but
She tried to do that Biden thing right here.
am speaking now. I am speaking now.
I'm speaking now. I am speaking now. And then she also said, if you want Trump to win, keep chanting that. Where's the other part? After protesters were removed, interesting to hear crowd convos. This is the administration trying to get a ceasefire, one voter says, annoyed. I think they just wanted to be heard, says another. I mean, she gave him a chance. They didn't shut up. Brother, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They gave him a chance. She didn't shut up. You know that's an elected representative, right? Like that is the current vice president in a literal fucking administration that is... I thought they were actively supporting the ceasefire. I guess not.
Intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis and the...
No, it is not a boss move to yell over people that are actively trying to get you to reiterate your commitment to a ceasefire that your fucking administration put together. A local news person live said, paraphrase, she got interrupted by anti-Israel protesters, but she didn't take the bait. She's the highest figure in the government that has called for a ceasefire, didn't attend a speech by Netanyahu, and spoke that she wants to help the citizens of Gaza more. We will see if we can interview that person. Here.
Intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Nah. I hate the fucking scared ass, like, the incredibly scared narrative, like well, AIPAC will come after her. Like, what are we talking about, dude? What the fuck are we talking about? Like a foreign lobby that gets to operate on U.S. soil has that kind of juice? Like, what do you mean? What is this fucking narrative? This is the United States of goddamn America, man. What the fuck do you mean? Okay. Then you actively should be like, we're registering AIPAC as a foreign lobby tomorrow. Funny how you were running defense for Walz being probably pro-Israel, but the tables turn when it's Kamala. Yeah, because I'm sexist and also anti-black and anti-Indian. If Tim Walz responded in that same exact way, I'd be up his asshole too. That's the reality, bro. Cory Bush just lost and you're saying that. What the fuck are you talking about? Man, shut your bitch ass up, dude. What do you mean? We have to triangulate around a fucking foreign nation that is literally a welfare state that would not exist without our unlimited billions of dollars of funds. The fuck are you talking about? 39-month subscriber dumbass, dude. Holy shit. That's actually insane. No, you don't understand. You cannot say any mean words about the suicide pact that we've made with the state that had pro-rape protests, pro-raping Palestinian prisoner protests last week, where the emergency Knesset meeting had a guy who was from Benjamin Netanyahu's party, the Likud party, openly say, yes, Israeli prison guards have the right to rape Palestinian prisoners. We can't say that that's insane at a time when the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, is declaring Israel's acts to be unconscionable. Israel's a fucking pariah state. Get the fuck out of here. AIPAC could not beat out the Dems on a presidential fight. Yeah, you're fucking insane. I'm asking her to reiterate her commitment to a position that this administration has put forward, chatters. That is insane. That is fucking insane. Okay? Like, this isn't... I'm not saying she should run on a ticket of fucking nuking Tel Aviv or some shit, okay? I'm not even asking her to be like, oh yeah, Hamas is the lesser evil or any number of different things. I'm simply saying reiterate your commitment to a permanent end to hostilities that your administration has put forward that you have championed, supposedly. She had all the smoke to leak to the fucking media. She had all the smoke to leak to the fucking media months ahead of time that she actually wanted to say permanent ceasefire, and the Biden administration changed their narrative. From checking the 40-plus suburb Michigan crowd online, they disliked the protesters for almost universally for being rude and one person rooting for everyone else. Several fall back on the "we still want an answer from her on Gaza" plan, but that's for interviews with the news, not mid-speech. To be fair, they made her mad. Bro, you're running for president. What do you mean? Like, these are the people that you are supposed to capture, that you're supposed to captivate. What do you mean? You don't tell protesters to shut the fuck up, okay? Unless they're hecklers, unless they're actual bad faith actors. You know what I mean? In which case, it looks great when Joe Biden comes up to a Trump supporter and says, like, listen, fat, I'll beat you in a push-up competition. Like, that's fire, okay? There's a difference when the protesters are on your camp. Where were the same hecklers when Biden gave speeches? Are you kidding me? Biden would get disrupted way more than Kamala Harris. Also, this is 2 days in. What? Just because you weren't paying attention when Free Palestine protesters were at every single fucking Biden speech. So much so that they had to like hide where he was going next half the fucking time. What are you saying? If your immediate instinct is to like run around and try to defend or try to like expose some kind of hypocrisy, they protested at the wrong rally, should have gone to Trump's and said, yeah, you're right. This is giving, why doesn't anybody tell Hamas to release the hostages energy? Yeah, dude, they should go to the fucking Trump rally. You're right. Because Trump is president right now, overseeing the genocide. You're correct. I mean, I'm one of the people. I'm one of these people that has taken a wait and see approach. Okay. Hoping, maybe with too much copium, that like they will be smart enough, because they've been pretty smart on a lot of stuff, that they'll be smart enough to make the right calculation and to know that if you're fucking 10 miles from Dearborn, Michigan, okay, the largest American Arab population, the largest American Muslim population in the nation, that you would at least have one line about Gaza. At least your commitment that your own fucking administration has made into a ceasefire and a permanent cessation of hostilities. 2% of voters view foreign policy as their highest priority. Oh my God. I fucking hate liberals so much, man. They have no foresight. Yeah. The State Department tried real hard to change ceasefire to only mean a pause in strikes, not even a retreat from Gaza, and even less than an end to the war. Even that's too much for these assholes. I know. I just don't understand how this is so difficult. You know what I mean? The UAW is a great example. The UAW itself has obviously endorsed Biden and also endorsed Kamala Harris now. But the UAW itself, alongside, I believe, 12 other major unions, okay, 12 other major unions have demanded that this administration change course on Gaza and reiterate their commitment and hold Israel accountable, reiterate their commitment to ceasefire and hold Israel accountable. UAW is one of those 12 unions that did that, okay? Americans want to ignore foreign policy, which is precisely the reason why it's a phenomenal opportunity for you to do lip service. That's the other thing. Because saying the right thing about Israel that Joe Biden has already said time and time again, and reiterating your commitment to that thing that Joe Biden has said time and time again at this point for the past 3 fucking months, and trying to tackle the issue on partisan grounds would open up an entirely new opportunity. It's like the moment that Tim Walz went on Morning Joe and said Republicans are weird, okay? Before that moment, Democrats would hate that. They would be like, oh, they're deplorable, they're fascist. They'd never say something like that because they'd be too afraid. Just like Democrats, liberals have a tendency to be too afraid of change. That's why they were afraid to switch out the ticket with Kamala Harris. Okay? They were afraid to switch out the ticket with Kamala Harris because they're always running on the worst instincts. They're running with fear. Okay? But looking at the numbers, looking at the polling, looking at everything, it's obvious that you stand to gain from taking a fucking stance like this instead of just hoping that it goes away when the fucking entire region is dialed to 11. 4,000 Marines in aircraft carriers have moved around the peninsula to take a defensive posture for Israel. 51% of Americans think that that is unacceptable, by the way, or 54% of Americans. The majority of Americans do not want American soldiers to die defending Israel. If you do not think Americans care about foreign policy, why do you think the White House's position on Gaza is a potential election loser, especially when both parties line up on policy? Oh, easy. Michigan and Minnesota. Now you got Waltz, but so Minnesota is locked down regardless. But Michigan. There's also a way to cut into the momentum, okay? The emperor has no clothes moment that happened for Joe Biden will happen with Kamala Harris. This is the start of that panic, okay? Do you understand? This is the start of that panic. It's been rosy as hell for the past it has been rosy as hell for the past 48 hours, 76 hours, okay? All of a sudden, obviously, issues are going to start coming up. The Republicans are going to get their shit together. They're going to be able to potentially launch a successful campaign strategy at a certain point, right? You have to be ready for that. You can't be just like flexing on all of the momentum that you've built up by being not Joe Biden. There's also then my own personal moral conviction on the matter. I think it's utterly repugnant to not even address it, but I rarely ever bring that up because I know many of you don't give a shit about that because you're only fucking enjoying the show because most people in America that care about politics understand the powerlessness that most Americans feel and therefore simply tackle the issue on team sports. I get it. Most people that are laser focused on politics, on the rat race, obviously have this subtle underlying understanding of the matter at hand, which is that our voices don't really matter, so you might as well have your team win so the opposing team looks bad and gets mad and cries. I like that myself. That's why I do Hogwatch. Okay? With the way Kamala HQ is trying so hard to appeal to the online youth via TikTok and shit, it's baffling that they wouldn't be more outwardly spoken about a ceasefire considering that demographic. I think a part of that is the calculation that they're making, which is that a lot of those people just hated Joe, not because of the genocide, but also because Joe's really fucking old. Okay? That's the calculation that they're making. That's the dangerous calculation that they're making. That a lot of people aren't actually all that invested in the genocide at all. It was just simply a thing that people were paying attention to, and that's why they were repeating it over and over again without much conviction associated with it. They're looking at the uncommitted voting numbers and maybe hoping they are looking at the uncommitted voter numbers and hoping that those guys were uncommitted because Biden is old and not necessarily because Biden was doing genocide. And it's showing some members, even very long-term souls of this community, are discussing. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's going to happen. But that is old school Democratic Party politics that failed. It failed in 2016. I know Kamala Harris is not Hillary Clinton and is not like as and doesn't draw ire or disgust in the same way that like Hillary Clinton did by the broader electorate. But you have to remember, you have to understand that this kind of like, if you don't vote for us, you just want Trump to win shit. It didn't work for Biden. Why would the equation work now? Because it's Kamala Harris. Okay? It should never work. That's ridiculous. Are you seeing Jonah Hill in the crowd behind her? No, I'm not. Look, it's morally right to try and protect innocents in Gaza, but it might not be the time to dive into a contentious issue right now. Man, shut up. When is the time, chatter? We'll wait, okay? Especially as Kamala's under attack as a leftist extremist by the right. Yeah, is that why she picked Tim Waltz? So that she could double down on the leftist extremist narrative? The fuck are you talking about? They're already doing that. They're saying, no, these are our policies. We're putting our fucking pussies and dicks on the table. This is who we are. We want to feed your children. Okay? That's it. We're not compromising. This is who we are. Stop being fucking weird and gross. We're going to feed the children. You want to talk about genital inspection day. This plays into that same exact narrative. Also, it's wild to think like, bro, they're literally like the number one issue in Israel right now is like how hard they're allowed to rape the Palestinian prisoners. Like, think about that. Okay? Half the crowd is like, yo, you got to go all the way. The other half is like, I don't know, maybe you do like 30% less rape. And you're over here having this point of contention like this is a normal conversation that they're fucking having over there. And we have to give unconditional support to them. Otherwise, their lobbying group will come and like ruin the presidential election. The fuck? What are we talking about? Israeli media just released video footage from the Sdei Taman concentration camp showing gang rape. Just because the American fucking media doesn't talk about it doesn't mean it's not happening. Didn't Corey Bowman and Jamal Bowman and Corey Bush lose on these? Yeah, dude. Those are Democratic Party primaries that they dumped $20 million and $8 million into. You think that's the same as the fucking general election? Are you out of your dang mind? They raped the Palestinian to death, chat. And the government is like talking about why it's actually kind of allowed to Israeli prison guards are allowed to do that. The fuck are we talking about? Yeah, here, one might call this weird. Exactly. Israeli journalist calls for rape against kidnapped Palestinians to be institutionalized. Soldier was suspected in the criminal offense of rape of a cuffed prisoner. It doesn't interest you? Does the morality of our soldiers not interest you? No problem. By the way, they're not soldiers. In fact, they're not soldiers. They're criminals. Again, I don't give a rat's ass what they did to that Hamas man. I always remember, first of all, the only thing that is a problem for me here, journalists in general, I hate this man, Schlesinger, Yehuda Schlesinger, is that it's not a regulated policy of the state to abuse the detainees. He's saying that his real issue is not this, like, and by the way, they're playing the fucking gang rape, the prison guards doing gang rape on the Palestinian video on the sideline. And this fucking demon, this Nazi demon piece of shit is on Channel 12 saying, I always remember, first of all, the only thing that is a problem for me here is that it's not a regulated policy of the state to abuse the detainees. He's saying it should be a fucking requirement that they do that. Scoop, Israel told the U.S. that if Hezbollah harms Israeli civilians as a part of its retaliation for the assassination of its top military commander, the IDF response would be disproportionate, Israeli officials told me. Interesting. That's shocking, by the way. Wow. Israel responding disproportionately? That's new. We're all shocked. Because first of all, they deserve it, and it's great revenge that we need to give them. Talking about rape, chat. This Israeli journalist is talking about raping Palestinians. And secondly, maybe it will also serve as a little more as a deterrent. So first of all, they deserve it. It is a very appropriate revenge. It's just a shame that we don't do it in an institutionalized way as a part of regulations for torture of prisoners. Because then the next guys who think about doing another October 7th, I talk with my family about this. I'm Israeli, and even my mom, who's a liberal Zionist, agrees it's terrifying. Is he talking about civilians? Brother, you think that matters? What the fuck are you talking about? But yes, in this circumstance, he's quite literally calling them Hamas terrorists, but they're not Hamas terrorists either. That's the other part of the equation that I'm not even getting to. But you can't argue to fucking rape people to death, bro. Are you insane? Are you fucking insane? Even if it's the worst criminal mastermind of all time, you can't argue to fucking rape them to death on public television. What the fuck? What are we doing? Yeah. Imagine this was a camp in Russia with verifiable evidence of rape and torture of Ukrainians. Would Miller insist on waiting for a Russian investigation? Think about that. Okay? Think about that. That's a great fucking analog here. Okay? And it has happened. There's been massacres. They didn't fucking wait. They didn't wait for a personal investigation by Russia to be conducted on Bucha. You know what I mean? They weren't like, oh, hold on. We got to wait for Russia to investigate itself on whether or not there was a fucking massacre committed in Bucha. They didn't do that. Of course they're not going to do that. So why the fuck are they doing it with Israel? Yeah, this is the other part of the story. Tonight, Ben Shitrit was hosted on Channel 14's talk show, Chapatroi Team. He wore a mask and was identified as M. He condemned the reporter who released the rape footage, asked the public not to break into the bases, and claimed that his unit always did everything according to law. By the way, I really hate you, anti-Zionist Jewish Israeli person from Israel. Also has tracked this guy's fucking social media profile. Meir Ben Shitrich was, according to the Israeli media, the main suspect in the ongoing Sidei Teiman sodomy rape case. In spite of that, he was the first soldier to be released after 2 days of detainment. Here's a video from him on June 2023 while in reserve duty in the West Bank. Why can't we go into Negev with machine guns? With Negev machine guns? Why can't we go in with mag machine guns? Why can't we just go in with the holding force of a grenade launcher to such a place full of terrorists? 2 days ago, all these terrorists were standing there, 150, 200 armed terrorists. Why don't we get 3 to 4 attack helicopters up in the sky and spray everyone? This video was posted on the Telegram channel of racist thug and right-wing influencer Yoav Eliassi, Hatzel the Shadow, and went viral. After the video circulated widely, Ben Shitrich claimed the army is threatening to remove him from service, yet the army assured the press that Ben Shitrich will not be dismissed. Ben Shitrich is an infamous piece of shit from Hebron who famously was on video saying, we're not shooting enough Palestinians. Meir Ben Shitrich, one of Israeli army reservists suspected of raping a Palestinian hostage, Sidei Teiman, describes his time during interrogation. The military police treated us really nice. You see the support, with a hand on their heart, like telling you, thank you. He's saying truly everyone, like all the military police that actually detained us were like, thank you for raping the Palestinian prisoner to death. Okay? That's what they were saying.
את התמיכה, הם עושים את העבודה שלהם כי הוא חייב להגיד לך כנס, תעשה, אבל הרגשת את הנשמות של הבנות שם, של הקצינים, של החיילים, כולם עם יד על הלב, כאילו אומרים לך תודה, והם לא יכולים
Ben Shitrich lives in Kiryat Arba, a settlement adjacent to Hebron, where Ben Giver also lives. The two know each other and are probably friends. In this video from Sidei Teiman, we see Ben Shitrich was the main agitator of the initial riots. I do wonder how he was released so fast. Anyway, so miss me with this fucking bullshit, bro. There is nothing, like, this is unconscionable. This is morally repugnant. You cannot fucking cast this issue aside. Okay? Like, that's insane. And you especially can't cast this issue aside in a fucking place like Michigan, dude. Are you insane? What are you saying to the people? Keep in mind, Schlesinger is a very prominent journalist for Adelson's pro-Bibi newspaper Israel Hayom. For the sake of honesty, he was temporarily removed from the morning show for this, but still, the only guy on the show actually challenging him as a Haaretz journalist is completely normalized, even if some are not as explicit about it. All of this comes with a massive B'Tselem report, which described in excruciating detail how Israel's prisons are torture camps. Like, what are we talking about? Why do people hate Donald Trump? You got Donald Trump literally doing Donald Trump shit plus more in a very direct manner in Israel, and we're fucking aligned with them? Do you actually hate Donald Trump, or is it just team sports? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Like, do you have no fucking moral convictions? What are we talking about? I guess y'all don't really mind Donald Trump at all either. Is the issue of Israel that significant for you? Do you actually need Israel to keep operating in the way that it is? Is that what it is? Is it simply how worried you are about AIPAC? Like, for how long is AIPAC going to hold America hostage like this? Is it fair to say Kamala's response to protests is mostly an aesthetic L, but not necessarily enough evidence to be a policy L yet? No, her not mentioning Gaza at all in Michigan is already a fucking policy L. Huh. I think we're just hyper focusing on the copium induced attitudes that we have, that like she's just gonna secretly be like, she's secretly gonna do the right thing behind closed doors or some shit. She's not. She needs to fucking utilize the bully pulpit. What the fuck is this poll, bro? Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada tie, Florida, Trump 6, Georgia +2, Michigan +1, North Carolina +3, Pennsylvania +2. I don't know how valid this poll is.
הבאים שיחשבו לעשות לנו 7 באוקטובר יגידו, אתם רואים מה עושים להם בישראל? אל תחשבו על זה בכלל.
קודם כל, צר לי שהדברים האלה בכלל זוכים משידור, ניב, כי מה שעושה פה שלנינגר זה פשוט הסתה לאלימות. הסתה לאלימות.
אוי אוי אוי.
האיש הזה...
ממש הסתה?
האיש הזה עכשיו תמך בעבירות של אינוס
של מחבלים נוראים, אנשי חמאס שרוצים להרוג גם אותך ולכפות אותך ולתקתק אותך כמו שהם.
Yeah. Don't you think like within a month of nomination, what are we talking about? It's not ruffling any feathers to reiterate your commitment to what Biden has put forward. What feathers are we ruffling? Like, what is this argument, guys? Does Biden want a fucking ceasefire in Palestine or not? Why the fuck did she put that on? Why did he put that on the table? Why did she say she wants a ceasefire? She wants to see a ceasefire months before Biden even put that on the table. What are we doing? Like, does she not want a ceasefire? She said she does. I took her at her fucking word when she said it. So why don't you? If she came out, I think many of you, I think, if she came out and fucking said she's actually not a progressive at all and that she literally wants to make healthcare less affordable and wants to literally build concentration camps at the fucking border, you'd be like, hey, honestly, she's still better than Trump, so I'm still voting for her. Really search within your hearts. It's crazy. Boomers like Israel, it don't matter. The fuck? And you're wrong. People want a ceasefire. People want the end to this fucking nonstop conflict. They don't want to see it in front of their fucking eyes for the most part, but they still want to end to the conflict. It's not like she was talking about how like she wants Israel to fucking beat Gaza to a bloody pulp, and all of a sudden we're expecting her to switch up now that she's running for president. She says she wants a ceasefire months before Biden came out with a ceasefire. There's a ceasefire proposal on the table. Israel killed the principal negotiator in that ceasefire proposal, and we're over here still talking about how cuck we are to Israel. What the fuck are we talking about? Israel doesn't exist without America's support. Okay? It doesn't. It's one fucking phone call. It's disgusting. That's it. That's it. It's one phone call. You got to be like, oh yeah, you guys want to do pro-rape protests? Okay. No more weapons transfers. That's it. And I don't think you guys understand. There's a lot of this momentum. And some people are genuinely excited. They're enthused. It's no longer an old white guy. You know, that's great. And there will be a lot of people who don't give a fuck about Palestine, who will just be like, yeah, I don't really care. I genuinely don't care about Palestine. I love... I'm dropping all that shit. I'm no longer a leftist, whatever. Okay. I'm a liberal. I'm libbed up. I love Kamala. I love Tim Walz. Hasan is a fucking idiot, whatever. Right. Plenty of people will say that, but there's still going to be a non-marginal, especially electorally consequential number of people that won't just drop it. Okay. They're just not going to drop it. So what do? Especially when there are no negative repercussions to taking the morally righteous choice. Like the morally correct choice in the situation is also not even a harmful one, electorally speaking, but yields benefits. The moment that you start talking about this or start thinking about this as like, well, Trump will be worse, is the moment that you've already lost. That's old school Democratic Party. They give you nothing, okay? They give you nothing. They haven't given you shit. That is exactly how Democrats keep losing. This past month was actually the first time the Democrats responded positively to the pressure that they were getting from their base. Think about how good that felt. I agree with you, but can she realistically come out against Biden's policy? I'm sorry. Is Biden's policy not a three-phase ceasefire and permanent end to hostilities negotiation? That's Biden's policy. What are we talking about? The fuck? That's Biden's policy. What are we doing?